I got an A in grade 9 drama. I'm actually a really good actor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Give me some lessons. All that money my parents spent on drama camp? Yeah, I went to drama camp. That checks out.
That really does. It really, really does.
fair,
Did we all
I
go
did
to drama camp?
I did choir camp.
Oh.
Yeah. What does being part of the LGBTIQA+ community mean to you?
I think the way that I describe it is being a part of something bigger than just me, bigger than just myself. I don't know how much this resonates with everyone else, but being someone from a rural community, that alone feels isolating from the rest of the country. Seeing the diversity within the community is so wonderful, really.
Yeah. I really think that being a part of any community is so valuable, but especially the LGBTQIA+ community, it's so welcoming and safe. And I think from my own experience, I never really felt like I had any community growing up, and even in sporting clubs and stuff I was in, it never felt like I had one community I could go to and feel safe. And so being part of this type of community is so rewarding and valuable to me, I think. What does chosen family mean to you?
I think it's about creating the people, creating the group of people around you that make you feel most yourself or most safe. So thinking of someone specific that's really special to me, she's an online friend. I've never met her before in real life, but she was actually one of the first people I ever came out to. She has really supported me throughout this whole journey and still is one of my best friends in the entire world. So to have that connection with someone is so vitally important to me.
I think, family can be so complicated, especially biological family for some people, and especially for people in the community. It can be so, daunting to have biological family that don't support you, and I think that's the beauty of a chosen family, is that it gives you that, and you get to choose who it is, and it's who makes you feel safe and comfortable, and you don't owe anything to them, but you'll do anything for them and they'll do anything for you, and it's really beautiful.
Having, people that you can always reach out to does wonders for your well-being, and knowing that there's people who will always keep you safe.
Yeah. I grew up as an only child, so it feels like I've got lots and lots of siblings who I can reach out to, where I'm so close to them. I go, I think this is what having a sibling must feel like, because I go to you for advice and support, and you do the same to me, and it's nice. It's nice to feel like, there's someone always out there for you on your team.
Is there a time or event you remember feeling a strong sense of community?
I think for me, I can't remember the first time, but the most recent time was the Trans Pride rally run in Victoria on Wurundjeri country. Having us all there together was really powerful, to be able to have trans flags and trans people walking together, because we knew if something were to happen, that we would all be there to protect each other, both physically and emotionally. Really grateful, especially to the trans women of colour who decided to run that event for us.
Well, concerts are my safe space, whether it is a queer artist or not, but I think it was probably one of the first times I've seen out proud queer artist was earlier this year, and I seen Fletcher, and I looked around the crowd as the venue was filling up, and I was like, this is not only the coolest experience of my life, but just seeing the diversity within the crowd and how everyone was just so excited and there to celebrate was really, really beautiful. And it honestly made me emotional for a good couple of weeks after, just thinking not only how cool the concert was, but also just that safe space that was created by this one person. We were all there to see her, but also celebrate in our queerness. It was really, really beautiful.
How did things change for you after you left high school?
I think for me, leaving high school was a chance to explore myself more. I didn't really know a lot of queer people at my high school. It wasn't really talked about, so going into the big world was a chance to learn more and learn about myself and learn about other people. I really loved uni because it was such a diverse environment, and I learned so much, and I'm still learning so much about the community and going, oh, I had no clue about these things. I loved the chance to just learn and meet so many people.
I feel like nothing changed, but also everything changed. I think I realised I was queer because I wasn't in high school and could actually think and explore that instead of in a space where it was like, it didn't feel like I could because I didn't know about it. So I think, yeah, definitely being able to be out of high school let me understand more about the world.
I know some people said, they're like, oh, high school is the best years of your life. And you know what, that might be the case for some. It wasn't for me. And I think that, like looking back, that's so okay now. Just thinking of the experience now that I've gained and the person that I am now compared to the person that I was then.
Sometimes people can feel isolated because of their sexuality or gender identity. What did you do to find connection and community?
This won't relate to everyone, but I think for me, like involving myself in volunteering and advocacy sort of spaces was really important because I think a lot of us are drawn to that because we want to change how things are. And so I found like a lot of amazing people who are they that I can really relate to and have a similar sense of like justice and wanting to change things to make them better for future queer generations.
Not everyone goes to uni, but for me, the clubs and societies at uni were awesome to meet people with similar interests. And you wouldn't always know they were queer until you got talking and you're like, oh, awesome.
I found it important, it worked for me to reach out to online communities. There is a lot of them, there is a lot of wonderful people that I've met from being online. Obviously it has its dangers, but there is that community out there, and I didn't have to base it just in the people that were in my small little town. So that alone made me feel really special and really a part of something, whether or not it was in physicality or not.
I was going to say that because we tend to have such a big focus on communities, there's actually quite a few groups around. Like I know there's climbing cuties that do like rock climbing specifically for queer people. There's the Shed for trans masculine people. Like if you just have a look online for sort of queer groups in your area, there might actually be more than you expect. And they're not all focused around advocacy, even though that's what we might gravitate towards. There's actually quite a lot if you have a look for them.
And I think the thought of maybe going to those kind of groups might be really scary, but if you can find the courage, or if you can find a friend who you feel comfortable with and who would want to come with you, I think that's a really good way to just try it. And you can always, with almost everything, you can try it, and if you don't like it, you don't have to go again. What advice would you have for a young person who might be feeling lonely?
I feel like it depends, because loneliness is like a really big experience, and you can be feeling lonely because you might be around people that you're not actually connected with, or you might be feeling lonely because you have people that you connect with but not on a certain level. Like you might not be able to feel comfortable to talk about, your gender or your sexuality. And so I feel like it really depends on figuring out why you might be lonely. I think a lot of us gravitate to online spaces, media, things like that, which have queer representation, because it's so meaningful to see someone, mirroring your experience that may not have been validated yet.
I would have a look at what's happening in your community. And if you don't connect with anything, that's okay. I know I didn't really connect with a lot when I was younger. I wasn't sure really what my interests were. And so I just was looking around at, who around me is easy to talk to, do I get along with, seems to have similar interests. I would go, okay, well, this person who seems really cool is really interested in drama, so I'll sign up to after school drama club and give that a go and see if that's a way I can hang out with them, and maybe they'll introduce me to their friends.
I also think it's perfectly fine to connect with someone maybe only on one level. There might be people that I talk to about, what I'm doing at work, and we're so connected and so excited and talking about that, but we might not, connect on another level. And I think sometimes they might feel pressure to be oh yes, one person that I feel completely comfortable with. And, I've been able to find amazing people like that, but I mean, most of the people that I connect with, we might only connect over a couple things, and I think that's beautiful in itself, and then I can connect with someone else on a completely different level.
Is social media a useful tool to connect with others in the LGBTIQA plus community?
I think especially in the disabled and queer communities, online friendships are so huge and so valuable, because meeting in person can be really difficult and really inaccessible to a lot of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you were saying before, like the different representation, a lot of people love talking about that. Like I know the conversations that I've had about my favourite TV shows that have queer representation or things like that, I've actually forged really great friendships due to that.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, especially being the regional area, there isn't always that same interest in that sort of media or anything like that, so that has been really vital for me personally.
I've always been a bit nervous when it comes to online safety, just because of the experiences that I've had.
I think it needs to be discussed a little bit.
You know what? I agree.
I think they agree too.
Yeah.
Like obviously it's sometimes can be dangerous or not safe to be online and be out or be talking in groups and stuff like that. Like, is there ways to make sure you can stay safe?
If you're actually forming the connection online, it's really important to keep like a lookout for any red flags. Like if they're trying to get personal information really quickly, I'd say that's a red flag. If someone's trying to put too much emotional labor on you as well, is a really massive red flag, especially if they're doing that in the beginning. They probably won't stop, and it's really important that you don't overextend yourself and that you're getting what you need and giving not too much of yourself.
If anyone you speak to online, like in a community or if they just start a friendship with you, or if you're posting photos and they're commenting on it and they're rude or disrespectful or anything that makes you uncomfortable, like a block, a report, do whatever you can do to keep yourself safe.
Well, it's important to know that like you're not obligated to give anyone your time or your emotional energy, especially if you're forming that online. You can take a break whenever you feel like it, and you should feel like that's totally fine. And if anyone's making you feel otherwise, then that's a massive red flag.
And like, especially with things being online, obviously a lot of us have phones directly in our pocket. We're able to access it so easily. So that can create the obligation or the perceived obligation that you have to reply to someone straight away, or you have to be always readily available. So I think just understanding that no, you don't, that's okay to take the time for yourself as well.
When you're having a tough time, who are the people or services that you can turn to for support?
Headspace.org.au.
I also really like the headspace queer space chats. Like just seeing so many people come in there and feeling free to ask questions, and I feel like a lot of people get a lot of connection out of it, and just being able to freely talk, and you can be like completely anonymous, which is often kind of rare in an online space, to have it safe to talk about those things in, and you don't have to identify yourself.
Yeah, those are the chats that I found really valuable for my journey and my like realising that I was a little queer person. So yeah, definitely recommend those chats. They're really wholesome, and it does feel like a community, and you can come in and be new and you're welcomed instantly. Yeah. For me personally, turning to a therapist, talking to my therapist at least, is a really good support when I'm going through a tough time. She gives wonderful advice, and it's just really good to talk to you. Nice way of talking to someone who doesn't have like an impact on, like if I talk to my friend about my parents, it's like now my friend thinks my parents are bad, but it's like if I'm talking to my therapist, it doesn't matter, she's totally unbiased. And
yeah, I just agree with especially the chosen family. They are such a vital, important part of my journey specifically, and personally, so yeah.
A lot of times I turn to my pets, and this might be like, oh yes, funny, of course you turn to your pets, but I think pets are like a really important part of the queer community, because like for a lot of us they might be like the first beings that we like express our feelings about gender or sexuality to, and they like give me a tummy rub, and you're like, thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for being there and not judging me.
They're so awesome for just not caring
Yeah.
and caring so much
All at once.
actually
yeah.
about your whole well-being, and they're like, I don't know what a gender is, but good for you. give me a treat.
Yeah.
They love you unconditionally
They do.
as long as you feed them.